Today I want to talk about how I use isometric training with my athletes and why it's a really useful tool to have. So if you've done any isometric before, it may be something like a plank or a wall sit, or it may be even a pause at the bottom of a back squat. But what we're talking about today is overcoming isometric. And the way we describe this is applying force into an immovable object. So what that might look like is you may be doing a back squat and you're pushing that bar up into the pins. So the pins and the rigs is not going to move, so you can apply maximum force. This also might be a deadlift, where again, you're deadlifting into the pins, or even a bench press. So the reason why we use isometric training is because we can apply a huge amount of force, all right? It may be even more force than you're capable of lifting in a normal lift. So let's say you are capable of back squatting for full range of motion 100 kilos. What you'll find is at the top third of that squat, you're actually capable of lifting 120 kilos. And what you'll find in the isometric, when you can brace, you might even be able to produce 130, 140 kilos worth of force in this overcoming isometric, all right? The reason why we can lift even more is because the skill is very low, all right? So you don't have to get into those deep squatting positions. There's not really as much technique and form involved. All you need to do is to be able to brace your core, get your body into a good position, and then push up into that bar as hard as you can. So the skill required is quite low, which means it's really great for beginner athletes to get that high force into an athlete that might not be as good at that back squat. The other reason is the cost, or what I call the cost, is very low. So this is the wear and tear on your joints. So if you're someone who has bad knees, maybe you're an older athlete or you're in season, you don't really want that wear and tear in your knee. If you're going to do a 3-rep max for your back squat for 3 or 4 sets because you want to get lots of force through those muscles, all right, the wear and tear on your knees, hips, and ankles is going to be a lot because that's a lot of weight, a lot of force. But because we're doing the isometric contraction, it's only 1 rep. We're not putting those joints through that stress. So we're getting lots of force, doesn't require much skill, and it has a low overall cost. So this is why we use overcoming isometric with our beginner athletes, and I also like to use it with athletes when they're in season.